Hi, Mark. Good evening, Mr. Wooden Tobacco Accessories. Chad. How you doing, Chad? Hope you're well. With the difficulty of buying stuff overseas now, this is not almost empty, but it's not far off. There's maybe 20 odd cigars left. This thing was overflowing at one point. This is an Atabey, $36, which is a lot of money in America for a cigar. This is the Benditos 7 inches by 58 ring gauge, which was sent to me by James. Thank you, James. He sent me 3 of these, each one different size. And I expressed my interest in these one time after I saw Zeal Cigars doing a review and saying that they're as close to Cuban cigars as you can get in the New World realm of cigars. Hey, Jeff. It's got a very nice coloured wrapper, Connecticut, I assume. Not getting a whole lot of aroma off it. There's a little bit of colouring on the cello, which is nice. He sent me these when I was still out in the garage, so I've had them for over a year, must be. Hey, Todd. Must be over a year. Selected tobacco, it says on it. Control. Calidad. Never heard of that. What's Calidad? McPhil, how you doing? Adam, good evening. So if you look at the band, you can see there's a little bit of a homage to the Cohiba band. A little bit. Not much, but a little bit. I'm getting a little bit more from the foot now. It looks like it's nicely rolled. You can see that there's a darker Seco or Ligero rather in the middle there. So hopefully that will burn okay. It's slightly off to the side there, but basically in the middle, which is good. This is a big cigar, and I'll probably manage this over a day or two. That's the problem with these bands. Occasionally you take them off and they stick, and you end up getting a bit of the wrapper coming off. It is a whopper, thank you, Jonathan. It's 7 inches by 58 ring gauge, big cigar. Was there indeed. Just got a message from one of the admins on a group I'm in. part of being a pipe maker, especially if you're backcountry, if you put yourself out there on YouTube or various other social media outlets, you have to develop a thick skin. We've sort of talked about this topic in the past several times. It's come up when there's been some sort of dodgy people. I'm not going to like that just yet because my wife is still up, and if she smells it, she won't be happy. Although she doesn't smell it from here, what happens is the extractor takes it outside and then it goes in through the window. But actually the window should be closed because it's cold. I'll give it a little bit. I've still got a bit of OGS in there, but it's actually been in there long enough, so it's not going to taste good. So on one of the groups on Facebook that I'm on, so like I was saying, you have to have a thick skin. If you don't have a thick skin, especially if you have a YouTube channel, you're going to get upset really quickly because there's always some jerk who's going to try and pull you down. And the more successful you are, the more somebody's going to try and pull you down through their own sadness, their own jealousy, their own inadequacy. That's just the way it goes. I think we'll try downhill flake again. The 626, I'm going to show that to you soon. I'll show you where I'm up to. Oh, come on, you weakling. That's better. Good evening, Prepper Man. So this is some downhill flake from 2017. Andrew, how you doing? Anyway, as I was saying, so there was this guy on this Facebook group who basically not every time, but very often, when a pipe maker would put up pictures of their new pipe, he would write a horrible, disgusting remark, saying, this pipe is ugly, and then he would put emojis of, the emoji of the guy throwing up with the green stuff coming out, that kind of thing. And it wasn't just to one pipe maker, he was doing it to several pipe makers. And just the other day, he put one on mine, which was the first time I'd noticed it. So I reported it to the admin, and they've just come back to me to say that he's actually already been taken off. So unless he's doing it on my own feed rather than through the group's feed, I have to check that. But it's nice to see when, hey Aardvarks, it's nice to see when they listen to you and take action. Because pipe groups generally, they're places usually which are very calm, very collegiate, and just respectful. So when somebody comes on and just wants to rip you, pull you down and upset you, then it's just, I haven't smoked this one in a while. Oh, it smells so good. It's vanilla roll cake that's been in there. Smoking Orley Golden Slice in a pipe that's dedicated to vanilla roll cake is sometimes a very pleasurable experience because you get your OGS but with a nice little tinge of vanilla, which is really nice. So this is pipe, I think this was pipe 799 if I'm not mistaken. Really nice pipe, nice green. Really nice stem. The stem really turned out very nice. I put some contours on the side to bring out that sort of, whoops, that grain on the stem, which looks really nice. Haters gonna hate, yeah. Hey Patrick. Haters gonna hate is all well and good, but you know, it's just not necessary. There's enough angst in the world, sadly. More than enough. Exactly, Pepperman. People sometimes, they've got sad lives, and this is, they get their little buzz, they get their little high from knocking somebody else. Oh, so I wanted to show you a pipe. I think I've showed it before, but this is a pipe I saw on Facebook, and Andrew Sirigliano very, very kindly got it for me, because the guy said that he doesn't sell overseas, he only sends to the US, and Andrew was very kind to receive it on my behalf. It's a lovely sort of Hungarian or bent billiard with some really nice grain on it, and the great thing about it, hey Phil, is that it's unsmoked. It's a vintage pipe, I think. They're full bent, and on it is written Starline Governor. Don't know if any of you are familiar with that. Starline Governor. And HHB it says on it, handmade. The only noise you might hear on my end would be the extractor fan. Just tell me if the noise you're talking about goes away, I'll turn it off. Is that the noise you're talking about, Chad? I mean, it will be quieter, there's nothing else I can do about it. I need to have the extractor on. I might have to think about replacing the extractor fan. The other option is to use a microphone. That's the only other thing I can think about. I'm just trying to think if I've got a headset. Hang on a second. The thing that I've noticed is that when you're doing a live, if you've got a Bluetooth headset, it doesn't use the microphone on the Bluetooth headset. Have any else you noticed that? I'm not sure with a corded headset. Let me see if I can bring you nearer. Okay, is that better? Can you hear me clearer now? hopefully now that I'm nearer, it'll isolate my sound better than the extraction. I'm sorry about that, Chad, but I can't smoke without that on, so. Why are some pipes without filters, Voltaire? It's the other way around. It's why are some pipes with filters. The majority of pipes are without filters. So this is, as I said, this is a pipe that I got, which Andrew sent over for me. Alright, no worries, thank you, Chad. So this one is not a filtered pipe, and probably what I will do is re-drill the mortise to take a filter, but because it's full bent, if I re-drill it as I normally would, you'd end up getting the bottom of the mortise would be down here, where the draft hole is up here somewhere. So what I might do is do a shallow drill on the mortise, but actually do a longer saddle on the stem. I'll make a new stem on it with a longer saddle and absorb the filter in the stem rather than in the mortise. Obviously some of it will have to go into the mortise, but I will do it as shallow as I can, and then hopefully that way I'll get still a good draw, and it'll end up being a system pipe, because at the moment it already is drilled all the way down to there. Just thinking about it, if it's already drilled down to there, then maybe I can just do that. But I'm a little bit nervous about going down there because I might get too near the this corner here. We'll see. Might be able to do it. I might be able to even keep this stem, but there's nothing in particular about this stem worth keeping. It's not stamped or anything like that. I know it's nice to keep things original, but it's not a particularly well-made stem. It's okay. The draw's alright. I shall have to see, but it's a nice looking pipe. I don't have that many full bent like that, and it's usually because of the full bent means that it doesn't really work with filters, and once you put a filter in, the draw tends to tighten up because of that problem. I was actually thinking of doing an update on my pipe collection. I haven't done that for a while. I do have quite a few new pipes that I need to break in at some point. And I do have a pipe coming in from Northern Briars, which I've been waiting on for quite some time now. Hopefully it'll come very soon. It's a custom shape commission. It's a spiral shank, but it's fully smooth. Oftentimes Ian, Northern Briars, when he does a spiral shank, the helix he calls it, he does ones of the spirals, he alternately makes them smooth and rusticated or sandblasted, which is a very cool look. It's a very neat look. But I wanted a Premier block, so his Premier blocks are the ones that he uses for smooth pipes, so I wanted the bowl to be a smooth bowl and the whole of the helix to be smooth as well. And the bowl itself is it's a bit like Chris Eldridge's, what's he call those long pipes, the reading pipes. Have you got one of those, Andrew? Stephen Cobbett of the Shire got a 7-day set of them. What does he call them? No, it's not a Demi Warden. He's got a name. It's a name which he's given it. I'm smoking some Dunhill Flake in my LCS Pipe 799. Dr. Silence, I think, yeah. So it's not the same as Dr. Silence, but the bowl is going to look a little bit like that. So it's a bit like it's supposed to be a bit like almost like a poker, but it comes in a little bit at the top with a plateau rim. So, and then the shank is a helix shank with a Cumberland stem. I still don't know how he does the helix. I asked him once, but he said that's a trade secret, which is fair enough. I've done a pipe like that myself, but nowhere near as accomplished as his. And there's obviously a process, a way of doing it. So I need to work out how that's done, or find somebody who'll be prepared to tell me how to do it. I just did it with a Dremel and just went round and round by hand, and it could be just as simple as that, I don't know. I've watched some videos on YouTube of people turning balustrades or table legs which are twisted, and that is done literally by hand. So what they do is they put the leg, the piece of wood, on a lathe, on a big lathe, and they mark out all the lines where the twists are going to be, the turns, whatever you call those, spiral, that's the one. And it's literally, they turn the lathe by hand, not motorized, they turn the lathe by hand, and they're holding the tool, a very sharp tool, against it, and just literally gouging it out as they go along. And afterwards, obviously, it's sanded. But doing it that way gives you a precise spiral. So I don't know if he's done the same or not. I saw that, Phil. I saw that spiked one. There's a guy here in the UK who has those spikes in his head. The pipe guy. He hasn't done a video for a long time. I forget his channel name, but he's got one of my big freehand pipes. Cowthorgath Cherry Vanilla with Erinmore mixture. That's an interesting mix. Yeah, those are all good videos to watch, Andrew. Watching him, even you can see some videos of Tom Eltang. There's some videos of some of the Japanese pipe makers going back a long time, and some you literally just get a snippet. So for instance, there are some videos out there of Lars Iversen even doing some work, but it's really it's somebody else's video talking about visiting Lars Iversen or something like that, and you might catch just a snippet of seeing him work, but you don't really get much method from it, but it's just interesting to see. And if you plow through YouTube, you can find good tips, even just to lay out your workshop, or how to use your tools. So to give you an example, my shaping disc, which I'm very happy with, I turn on both sides of the disc. Now when you watch any of the Danish carvers, they all use either 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock. None of them use the right side of the disc, and in fact the motor is turned so it faces them at an angle like that, so they can't even reach that side. Now the main reason for that, I think, is number one, that's how they've learned, but also because the motor is spinning in that direction, so that when you turn, the dust flies downwards. And if you look at their videos, you'll see they don't even have an extractor. They have a bin underneath. Maybe they've got an extractor attached to the bin, it's possible. But what they have is a bin underneath, and you don't see dust everywhere. So they're only doing it in that direction, which means that the dust is always going downwards. When you use the right hand side of it, the dust flies up in the air, and that's a problem. So I'm slowly training myself to just use the left side of the disc, and I'm learning techniques, but it's something I'm not used to. I taught myself to to shape on the shaping wheel using both sides. For 90% of the time I use the left side, that's 6 or 7 o'clock, which is fine. But for 10% of the time, which is when I'm doing the shoulders, when I'm doing this side, I'm shaping like this. But when I'm doing this side, I'm on the right hand side of the wheel, and when I do this side, I'm on the left side of the wheel. So it's just for those few minutes that I'm doing this shoulder, I'm on the right side. So smoke, it goes up, it comes back down again, steam, talking rubbish, dust goes up, it does come down and go into the extractor thing, but some of it does fly around. Nice one, McPhil. Dock Worker is a nice tobacco. It's an interesting tobacco. It's got a very interesting flavour. It's quite a unique flavour, I think. I just find that it lasts about half a bowl, and then the flavour thins out as you get past halfway down the bowl. So I tend to smoke smaller amounts of it. I haven't had it in a while though, but it's a very interesting smoke. Yeah, that is a pain. If it spins clockwise, then you can just sand on the other side, and it should shoot the dust down. I don't like using a belt sander on the shank transition, because I find that the belt sanders, if you hit the edge, they're so sharp on the edge and they just cut into your wood. I just prefer not to use belt sanders. I don't use belt sanders at all. I used to use them for my stems, but even that I don't use anymore. I've thankfully become, very comfortable on the shaping wheel with the stems. I used to mark up the stems. I don't even mark stems up anymore. I just literally do it all by hand, on feel and touch. It's thankfully I've now done so many stems that it's just another part of making a pipe. I used to be very intimidated with making stems. It's still not my favourite thing. It's messy, it's smelly if you're using ebonite or vulcanite, but it's something that I just do. It's normal now. I do more hand cut stems than non-hand cut these days. Yeah, I guess so, Phil. You could do that. You could take things up. But I've taught myself, and I've sort of become accustomed to doing it on the disc, so that's fine. I've seen Mike Billington turn a stem. He does it all by hand on discs. As far as I know, Ian Walker does it by hand on a disc. It's what you're used to, I guess. This is actually quite impressive. It's almost perfect. Basically, when you're dealing with such a full bent pipe, it's going down like that, and often when you come into the bowl, it's a very stretched oval shape coming because of that downwards trajectory, and you end up with quite a slanty hole going into the bowl. I remember reading up about Bo Nord. He used to drill it short and then used to use a ball bearing into the bowl, and it used to force it into the draft hole, so it made a small circular hole coming into the bowl. I've never tried that, but this one here is actually pretty well done. I mean, it is elongated, but it's pretty well. I think he's put some of the bowl coating over part of the hole, I think, so it makes it look like it's smaller. So yeah, it is quite stretched actually. Evening, Sam. I might try and keep this stem. We'll see. Could probably do with being bent a fraction more. I didn't say what the cigar is made up of. I don't know. I haven't looked it up. But it's a very mild, easygoing flavour. It is a little bit Cubanesque. I've smoked 2 of them so far. This is the largest one. I left this one till the last because it was so big. I imagine it will last me a couple of days. Yeah, accent rings is a hurdle. It is a hurdle on a wood lathe. No question about that. Give me a shout, Adam. You know, we can do a video, and I can show you. We can talk about it. Which actually leads me nicely on to progress of my current pipe, which has got 2 accent rings on it, so I can show you that. So I'm doing a 626 at the moment. So far, the 626s I've only done as commission pipes. This is my first that I'm doing non-commissioned, so it's going to be available. So the 626, this one is slightly different because it doesn't have a plateau top, and this actually comes, usually I do them from plateau, a block, and I keep the plateau. This one I've done slightly differently. I've taken an Ebershorn and turned it on its side. So you can see the shape there. So on this one, as you can see, I've put the same ebonite onto the shank, and then followed by a briar ring on the shank. Okay, so it finishes up there. So there's the 2 rings there. On this one, I've done the ebonite ring, which will match the stem, but I've done an ivorite ring instead of a briar ring. So essentially, one of the things I've been working very hard on is making sure that the rings are as close as possible so that they really fit tightly onto the shank, because it's once I flatten that out and drill it, if there's a gap between the shank and the ring, it's fine because it's glued and it's not going to go anywhere, but it just doesn't look so nice. So I've been really working very hard on doing that and making sure that it will be centered once it's turned. It's off center now just because of the size of the ring, but that's just the ring, it's not the pipe itself. So you've got the ebonite ring there, and you've got that ring there. I prepared a few of these when I was making one for the last pipe, you know, that one with the beautiful grain on it. It's already been sent out, so I can't show it to you. But it's the last pipe that I made. So I used an ivorite ring on it. So whilst I was doing it, I drilled a length of ivorite, because I use a standard diameter every time I turn down a shank for adornments. I use exactly the same diameter every time, and that way you get used to it, and it's just something that you're familiar with. And so I just cut a whole series of them, so I've got them ready. So I'm making use of it. Hopefully this one will give us some good grain, and with a bit of luck it'll stay fault-free, hopefully. So I'm hoping for a nice result on that. So the stem is there. already drilled for the draft hole is already in there. And that I've got to cut the slot and do the funneling. Nowadays as well, one of the changes that I've made is that I'm stopping short when I drill the draft hole. I used to drill it because I'm using a tapered drill bit, so I can actually come quite close to the end because it's tapered down almost to nothing. And then when I do the V-slot, it's absolutely fine. But now what I'm doing is just to improve things and to make the V-slot sort of flatter and smoother and more consistent. I'm stopping short a little bit further down so that the V-slot is actually longer, and that way you don't have that little groove that of the drill, of the draft hole drill as it comes and meets the V-slot. So I've done it further down so that when I use that, I'm actually cutting into the drill thing, the end of the drill around there. So I've got a nice healthy V-slot, and I'm actually going to widen the draft hole with that rather than drilling it all the way up to there. So hopefully that will be a further improvement. I think I'm going to go back to my traditional LCS wave. I haven't really been doing them recently because a lot of the pipes that I've been making, the stems have been kind of custom shaped. You know, I've been playing around with lots of different shapes on the stems, you know, freehanding it a lot, which, when depending on the pipe, it suits it to have a freehand shape, contouring on the stem. But in the 626, I really want it to be an LCS shape, you know, the cauldron. I'm not the first person to do a cauldron, but the way I do it, I want it to be consistent. The only inconsistency on this one is, I say, it's going to have a smooth top rather than a plateau. I might even do a faux plateau just to keep it, you know, consistent. We'll see. It depends what the grain is. I'm hoping the grain is going to be really good. If it is, then I'll keep it smooth. But I think that I'm going to go back to the original 626 shape, which is a little gentle curve here and then the half saddle there. It's been a while since I've done a 626, so I'm looking forward to it. The hardest part of doing this pipe is this section here. When you're turning it, it's extremely hard to get it right. It looks simple, it looks like any other pipe, but it's not. Usually what I do is on the bandsaw. Thankfully I've got a new blade on the bandsaw, so it's cutting very nicely. It's so far. See how long it lasts. Oh, nice one, Phil, thank you. So usually what I'll do is, on the bandsaw, I would cut this out. And I would cut this side out. But each time I do it, I regret it because I end up having not enough room here. It's something to do with the way that shape works. So I decided this time I'm not cutting the block at all. This block was out here. I turned it all on the lathe. I did not cut it at all. And I'm hoping. It is disconcerting sometimes because when you're cutting the block and you're cutting these two adornments and it looks like there's no shank left, but by the time you're finished, there'll be a fair bit of shank still to go. You can see it's drawn on the block there, so there will be a fair bit of shank. Nothing a huge shank, something similar to that, maybe on this pipe a fraction shorter. But I think I've made the stem just a little bit longer to compensate. I'm not sure if it is in the end. We're going to do the stem. Yeah, it's a fraction longer to compensate for that, so hopefully it'll be a very similar size. Hey, trucking. Oh, is that the cane for Mark? I thought you were talking about mine. Big piping pasta. I'm enjoying this Dunhill flake. Might not even have to resort to the cigar, we'll see. Oh, for me, thank you. I'm really excited to see it. Phil's been making me a cane, which is very, very nice of him to do that. And I asked him not to send me any pictures because I want to open the package, and for it to be a surprise, I'll do it on camera. I'll do a video for it, so I'm really excited for that. I'm looking forward to it. Incidentally, the Toscanello Rossos that I've been talking about recently, maybe I'll just have one of those. In fact, I've got a starting one somewhere. Pipes Forum, 485. Let's have a look. Pipes Forum, what's that? Have I been on that? Is that a website or is it a news group? Or is it pipemagazine.com? Oh, I'm looking at it now. I must be logged in to do that. Yeah. I am a member, but God knows what my address is. Yay, I'm in. Oh, that is a nice pipe. That's a super grain. That is a nice pipe. Who's that though? Pipe Boy 122. That's a gorgeous pipe. The grain on that one was exceptional and deserving of the super grain stamp. I think I've used the super grain stamp almost as sparingly as the 5-star. I've only done one 5-star pipe. But the super grain I've used maybe 3 or 4 times. Yeah, that's the stem on that one is a tortoise shell, but it goes so well because the tortoise shell itself has a grain pattern on it. So yeah, the colours go very well with the grain pattern of the pipe, and it's got a nice silver ring on it. It's spot on. It is a nice pipe. Your first commission pipe is a very special thing. If it works out, it's even more special. I think my first commission pipe... No, my first commission pipes were all Northern Briars, I think. I did a couple, this is back in the day before I was making pipes. They were mainly Northern Briars, 1 or 2 Blake Mars, but mostly Northern Briars. And since then I've had a few. I've had, as far as commissioned pipes go, I've got a Burke's pipe from Michael Burke's, a very nice pipe. Phil Rivara. I actually commissioned a pipe from Boswell Pipes. Hey, Mad Piper. Since then I've commissioned lots of different pipes. I've got a Henrik Kroll pipe, commissioned pipe, which I wasn't very happy with. The German pipe maker, and he's very well regarded these days. Let's see if I can show you any of my commissioned pipes. This pipe wasn't commissioned, it was a... Yes, Patrick, I know, and it's much appreciated. I hope you're enjoying them. This is a panel pipe, which wasn't strictly a commissioned pipe. This was an exchange. So there was like a secret Santa on one of the Facebook groups for established pipe makers. So you get drawn in a hat, and you exchange pipes. And this was the one that I got. It's made by a guy called Briar Pipes. I forget his name now. I could find it, but a very, very nice pipe. It's a shape he does quite a lot, and it's drilled very, very nicely. It's very precisely made. I still haven't smoked it. The button there is a little bit thin for my liking, but it actually holds very well, so it's not a problem. And he made it 9mm for me. He's actually put a little Delrin sleeve in there, which just, I guess, makes it smooth, and it means you can break the pipe down when it's hot. It's a neat idea, I like that. I should really break this in. It's a nice pipe. So that's one of them, but not strictly a commission. My Tom Phillips pipes are commissions. This one was a commissioned Tom Phillips pipe. I've had 3 or 4 from him. I've got 2 left. There's this one and the small Bulldog, which are commissioned pipes from him. I believe he's started making pipes again, but for some reason I'm unable to see his output. I don't know if he's blocked me for any reason. No idea, but I can't see his output anymore. This is the other one. Beautiful pipes. Really, he makes beautiful pipes. This is a Jason Mouton pipe, Levat. This also was an exchange, not a commission as such, but he made the pipe for me. This is an exchange for an unsmoked Millennium Stanwell pipe, which he wanted very much, so we did an exchange on that. This is the Henrik Kroll one, which I've only smoked a couple of times, but you've heard the story about this pipe. It's a really nice pipe. I've just got a bee in my bonnet about it, so I haven't smoked it. I don't know, I'm being stupid, I know. But it's hardly smoked, so much so that you can still see the briar in the draft hole. I've had it up for sale a few times, but it's actually probably worth more than I paid for it now. Its prices have gone up a lot. This is the Burke's pipe, a little acorn, very nice pipe. Haven't smoked it in a while. Nice sandblast. See you trucking, have a good one. I mean, my Asikian pipe is, I wouldn't call it a commission, but it was a gifted pipe. And he asked me a few of the things that I would like on it, which was basically a Cumberland stem and the design that I liked. He does very nice carvings, very symmetrical carvings. I wanted one of those, and so I suppose you could call that a commission. But he gifted it to me, which is very nice. Well, Nish, avid piper, gifted it to me. Have I reserved my PCOL pipe, Club of London pipe of year? Yeah. Yeah, it's reserved and paid for. So hopefully that will come soon. I'm trying to remember what shape it is. If you guys haven't taken up membership on the Pipe Club of London, it's a no-brainer. It's really cheap to become an associate member, so you can basically be an online member. You can join, if you're not in the UK, you can join the virtual Zooms once a month. And you get great pipes. I mean, every year there's a year pipe, and they're at a great price. I'll show you on my phone because you're on the iPad, so I can't really see, can't really move it. What am I looking for? Up goes on. Oh yeah, it's a Stavinelli this year. So it's a panelled bent billiard or brandy with a brass ring which says PCOL 2024. Nice stem, an acrylic stem. I think the rim is smooth. I think it's really cool to get a big brand like that to do a club pipe. I mean, I don't know if it's... I guess it must be worth their while, otherwise they wouldn't do it, but it's a... I mean, I don't know how many pipes they get each time. I think they probably order something in the order of somewhere between 60 and 100 pipes maybe. 60-ish, 60, 70 pipes each year. So for Savinelli to make a custom pipe, essentially, to make a one-off run for 60, 70 pipes, yeah, I guess it also gets people into the market. So if people smoke it and they like it, they're going to buy more Savinellis, I guess. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot to talk about, really. I'm going to be going up to Manchester, well, halfway to Manchester on Monday. My dad's been staying at my brother's for a couple of weeks. So he's going to bring him halfway, and I'm going to go up halfway and bring him back. So that's my Monday, at least half the day sorted. Tomorrow I'm working at a bar mitzvah. Tomorrow evening, guys. So I hope tomorrow to have this shaped and undercoated, and usually I'll leave the undercoat on overnight and then work on the finish the next day, so probably I'll get to that Monday afternoon. Well, folks, I think it's going to be a bit of a short one today. unless anybody wants to raise a topic, I'll call it a night. Okie dokes. Mark, Welsh Piper, UK Pepperman, Mad Piper, Patrick, Truckman Piper, McPhil, Jonathan Stones, Phil Rivara, Piping Pasta, Bear Wolf and Miss Kathy. Sorry, didn't see you come in. Welcome. Andrew Sirigliano, Adam, and everybody else. Backcountry Piper, thank you very much for joining. Hope you've enjoyed that. It's a bit shorter than usual, but I'm not going to blag it just for the sake of it. So I wish you all well. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and the rest of your week to come. Catch you on the next one.